home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, for brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Ready, set, Ford. Just announced 0% for 66 months with approved credit on all 2025 Ford F-150s at Zollner, Fort Beatrice. Save thousands in finance charges. If your current pickup loan's 4, 5, 6% or more, trade in today and receive 0% for up to 66 months on a brand new 2025 Ford F-150 of your choice at Zollner, Fort Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to Ticket Weekends. Harrison runs on the ones and twos. You guys are welcome to join in. 402-464-5685. That is the Starter Heyman text line. Facebook, YouTube, X, Al Channel 961. All great ways to put a face to the voice. Just wrapped up with What's Next 24. Appreciate Coach Ron Brown coming in here and talking a lot about the holiday spirit. There's plenty of things to get to in the Huskerland, though, along with what's coming up in Huskerland. I think the easiest way to do this is we'll talk about what we do know already, and that is volleyball advancing on. So they won that first one in the NCAA volleyball tournament versus Long Island University in a sweep 3-0. The next game that was yesterday was versus Kansas State, and they win that one in another sweep in pretty dominant fashion as well. I'm really not too surprised so far. On that first one, like I said, versus Long Island University, they won the first set 25-11, second set 25-15, third set 25-17. And points for that one, obviously Nebraska dominant 62-27. Nebraska had 47 kills to Long Island's 24. And pull on 5 aces as well. Nebraska has been doing better, especially it feels like towards this end of the stretch, about really making that serve deadly. And you're starting to see the aces show up with it. They had 10 blocks as well, 45 assists in 39 digs. Andy Jackson had a particularly good game in that one with 10 kills and 5 blocks and hit at 83%. Jackson's hitting percentage was postseason school record. So another record for Andy Jackson as she continues her excellent play in this tournament as well as the end of the season. And then next one versus Kansas State, like I said, they win in another sweep to advance. This one a lot closer. Kansas State played pretty good, especially in that second set. They win the first one 25-17. Second set, like I said, gets a little bit closer, 21-25, but then they do turn around in that third set and win in pretty dominant fashion, 25-16. Pretty decent Kansas State team. I think it was the most we've maybe seen this Husker team pushed in a while outside of that UCLA regular season game where Nebraska would inevitably lose a set. It would be the only set they would lose against any Big Ten opponent this season. And Penn State gets a little close, 21-25. Points in that one, obviously, Nebraska wins that 55-37. The Huskers had 43 kills to Kansas State's 27. Then once again, the aces. Nebraska gets 7 aces in this game. Easy points there. They did lose in blocks 8-5, and then assist. Once again, Nebraska was still there, 40-23, along with 48 digs to Kansas State's 32. Andy Jackson and Harper Murray tied for match high honors with 10 kills apiece in this one. That puts the Huskers at 32-0. Just an incredible run so far. Nebraska did only hit 25% in that match, but it held Kansas to 118. So, I mean, I say 253 like it's a bad number, but you'd still take that. Most programs would. Anywhere getting close to that 300 is great. That defense was stellar. Kansas State, just a 118 hitting percentage. So now that they're moving on here, they do get a little bit of a break as they don't play till I believe it is this upcoming Friday. Yeah, they don't play again until the 12th, and that one will be versus number 4 Kansas. So up until this point, it's been chalk as to who Nebraska's end up playing. They will get Kansas. On the other side, you're looking at chalk as well. You got number 3 Texas A&M and number 2 Louisville facing each other, and that one inevitably decide whoever wins out of Nebraska, Kansas. Other teams advancing, Texas still number 1. They're in the mix as well. On the other side, they're facing number 4 Indiana. You got number 3 Wisconsin still in it. They're playing number 2 Stanford, number 2 SMU, number 3 Purdue, number 4 Minnesota, number 1 Pitt. It is good. You're seeing a lot of these Big Ten teams still come out on top. You do got Creighton and Arizona State, and then Kentucky and Cal Poly. Cal Poly with just upset after upset so far. They upset BYU 3-2, and then they go beat USC and another upset 3-2. So they're on a nice little bit of run right here. Been probably the biggest upset so far. You could point out Michigan, but Pitt would eventually take care of Michigan. Number 1 Pitt at that. So Big Ten teams in the mix. You still got Nebraska, as I mentioned, Indiana, Wisconsin, and then Minnesota, Michigan, USC. And that is it for your Big Ten teams in the mix. All right. With that being said, we also got Husker Hoops going on later today. They take on Creighton in about 7 hours. It will be 4 p.m. later today. A lot on the line in this one. It's always an interesting matchup. Every time we get Creighton, feels like a closer game, and it's felt like the road team has done better, especially in these recent games of late. Yeah, I think the thing you're looking at in this one is you're hoping for the Huskers to bounce a little bit back after a poor shooting performance versus Upstate. It wasn't a great game to watch for the eyes. It wasn't a discombobulated offense. It just felt like shots weren't going in that night. And that's going to be the reason why this Husker team is able to beat some of the better teams out there, and the reason why this Husker team is going to be close to some opponents that, quote unquote, really shouldn't be competing with Nebraska. We're not the most athletic team, but what they do is share the ball really well. And when they do that, they can get really great shooting numbers on top of it. You see the same thing with the women's team. I think it's arguably why both those teams are having a ton of success right now, is just their ability to keep that ball moving. Really good assist numbers, assist to turnover ratios have been pretty solid, especially on the women's side. The men at times can get up there in turnovers, but often that really is about the only thing. Is poor shooting and turnovers have been the kind of banes of this Husker team. Rebounding hasn't been a critical issue yet. We'll see what it looks like when we get to some more of these Big Ten opponents. It helps that Creighton no longer has Kalkbrenner down there, one of the Big East Defender of the Year twice. He won that award. So we won't necessarily have to be as hard pressed around the rims in this game, but we'll get some. You know, if you've been keeping an eye on Michigan hoops this year, they're going to be a problem. Minnesota just had a big upset as well. And then you got some of the newer schools in here that we've played a few times already, but the UCLAs, the USCs, the Oregon, and the Washington. Not necessarily the typical Big Ten teams, but I think Washington's pretty big this year. So we'll see if that rebounding becomes an issue. But again, the way they move the ball, if they're shooting it all right, even just on an average day for them, they're going to win more often than not. It takes a really poor shooting for performance up until this point for these guys to really feel like they're in jeopardy. You are without Connor Essegian, which is a big blow. He was another one of those 3-point threats out there. When you have him, you got Sanford, Cale Jacobson, if he's feeling it, Sam Hoiberg, who doesn't take a ton of shots, but maybe doesn't always get enough credit for being as good of a shooter as he is. Last year, he was one of our leaders in that 3-point percentage. Actually, he doesn't take a ton of shots, but he's usually pretty effective when he does. Jamarcus Lawrence, another guy who seems to be finding his rhythm as the season continues. Early on, more just kind of handling the ball, making the right passes. Now you're seeing a little bit more from him offensively. And then, of course, Braden Frager, the freshman. He's got a all-freshman Big Ten Player of the Week honors already. He's been incredible. And if he can do a little bit of everything, I mean, he is the epitome of a 3-level scorer. He's kind of similar to Rink Mast in that manner. More athletic, not as great as a passer, but you'd imagine the passing will just come with time. But what he's able to do is, again, he's kind of like Rink Mast. He can hurt you on the 3. He can certainly drive to the rim. Even if he doesn't have a clear lane, he's got a nice touch around the trees as well, and he's long enough to make those plays. He can also shoot it from 3. You don't see a ton of mid-range game from him, but not necessarily the worst thing out there if you can knock down the 3 and you can get to the rim and finish. And you're seeing him really become a bigger part of this team's offense. It feels like every game they go through. And then, of course, Rink Mast, the guy that I was mentioning alongside with Braden Frager, he's just a weapon. You heard that after the Oklahoma game. You heard that after the exhibition game. This team is starting to get credit about being one of the better teams out there that is likely to make a tournament run. Well, make it to the tournament. I don't want to say make a tournament run because we haven't won a game there yet. But you look at the projections, they're way too early, of course, but you're seeing people put them up there as high as a 4 seed in some of these projections. So whether you believe it or not, here in Lincoln, there is starting to get this consensus belief, especially nationally, that this Nebraska basketball team might be different from years prior. And when you look at Fred Hoiberg in this team, it might have been disappointing for this team to miss March Madness last year, but their ability to at least get to the college basketball crown and then win out and then once again finish year with 20 wins is huge. You know, it's back-to-back years. Nebraska gets 20 or 20 plus wins. It sounds crazy, but it's like this is kind of what you'd call the golden age of Nebraska basketball. You can point to, you know, Eric Strickland's team when Nebraska was in the Big 8 back in the day. They were certainly good, but you didn't quite have that consistency of where we're at now. You had some good runs, and then it fell apart pretty quickly there, despite having really good rosters that were competing and then even won the Big 8. This feels like there's a little bit more foundation here. We'll see if it falls apart just like it did in the past, but it's kind of within that same range where we have some players and a guy in Rink Mast who is going to have the potential to be an all Big Ten player the way if he keeps playing the way he does. And when you look at Nebraska's history, you're just not going to find a lot of all Big Ten players. You're not going to find a ton of All-Americans. I think there's might be one All-American in Nebraska basketball history. And if you guys can guess it, 402-464-5685, because I do believe there is only one. It's not a program with a ton of history behind it. So despite being frustrated, especially last year when this team misses the tournament, there is some really good things to point to. And so far this season is building off of that momentum. Again, if you count the ending of last season, Husker basketball, men's basketball has the longest active win streak in college basketball. So there's things to be happy about. I know Jeff Essing says it all the time. The Husker fan base is a little bit like an abused dog at times. You don't want to get too excited, but there's some real tangible things here. And versus this Creighton team, again, it's a down Creighton roster. It's not the same Creighton team that we've seen in years past. It doesn't mean you can take them lightly. It is a rivalry game. There's certainly years where Nebraska basketball might have had no, real argument to be playing against them the way they were, but they found themselves in some of those wins. So again, it's a rivalry game. They're always a little bit weird. You don't want to take these guys lightly. And they have losses, but they've lost to some really tough opponents. They lost to Gonzaga, 19 ranked Gonzaga at the time, 90-63. They got blown out in that one. Then they bounce back, get a couple wins versus some easier non-con opponents. Then they get Baylor. They drop that one, 81-74. Not ranked, but I think Baylor's a good team at the very least. Then they get Iowa State, and they get blown out again, 78-60 versus number 15 Iowa State. They played Oregon, and they get a win there and some more Big Ten action. And they do win by 10, and then they got scored 96 in their last game. So when their offense is going, it looks great. And when they play some of these teams that like to press you a little bit more defensively, like Iowa State did, like Baylor did, like Gonzaga did, you can hold them closer to that 70-60 range. And teams that have, really struggled defensively have been giving up, closer to 80 to 90 points per game. Should be a good one. That one, again, that is going to be, I believe, 8 p.m. tonight. Let me double check, or excuse me, not 8 p.m., 4 p.m. tonight, this Friday, as they get ready to take on the Creighton Blue Jays and try to extend this winning streak. Currently 8-0, potential to make it 9-0. With that being said, I think that covers all the other sports. I will get to wrestling, but not till the end of the show, as they had a pretty good weekend as well. There's a lot of major Husker news, especially in the football world. You lose Donovan Raiola, but you bring in Georgia Tech offensive line coach Jeep Wade. Jeep Wade with a G, not a J. Jeep Wade out of Georgia Tech feels like a great hire. There's two ways to look at it. When we first got rid of Donovan Raiola, the offensive line coach at Nebraska, there's part of me that, was a little bit hesitant. I know that's kind of been the fan selection of a guy that Nebraska should move on from, or maybe should move on from. And there's certainly an argument for that. I was a little bit hesitant unless I knew who the next guy was. Hindsight being 2020, I think getting a guy like Jeep Wade is a home run. I love that hire. We'll get into Georgia Tech's numbers, in particular their sacks allowed under his watch and yards gained per game on his watch over there. But initially, before I knew it was him, that's kind of where I landed on Donovan Raiola. He's had to work with Frost and then Lubick, and then that get changed over. And then it goes to Rule, I forgot. Add Whipple to the mix. So it was Frost, and then he kind of took off the play calling. And then there was a little bit of a stretch there where we had another coach kind of having some persuasion, and then Lubick hops in the mix, and then Lubick doesn't work, and then we bring in Whipple in the mix, and then the whole staff gets washed out. Donovan Raiola is the only one to stay. So within that tenure, Donovan Raiola worked with Scott Frost calling the plays, to Lubick calling the plays, to Whipple calling the plays. Kind of tough to build an identity there. And then you get to the Matt Rule era, and starts off a little bit of the same, right? Year one, new coaches, new head coach. Okay, who's my offensive coordinator? Satterfield. You go along with the season, and then in the middle of the season, okay, now it's Holgorsen, and now we're in this season with Holgorsen. And, actually had some good numbers in the run game. The pass protection is where everyone's going to point to the problems. And understandably so. I think we gave up like 30 sacks this season. If you look at the run game, though, it was the first time in a while when Nebraska had a legit run game. How much of that is Emmett Johnson? How much is that Donovan Raiola? I think it's a fair argument to have, but it was there. And I think the last two games, because they hurt so bad, it was hard to think that we maybe made any progress whatsoever, especially in the trenches. You look at the way that team was, unfortunately at times just dominated in order stopping the run. But the offensive line, although struggled at pass protection, I think a lot with communication, and maybe that comes on coaching, they were able to run the ball. And because those games were such blowouts, I think people maybe lost sight of that a little bit. It didn't mean I understand that people would still want to move on from him, but those are just the things running through my mind. I'm not saying he should or shouldn't have been, but that's where I was at initially. And then you bring in Jeep Wade, and now I kind of like the hire a lot. It's a lot easier to move on when you know who that next guy is going to be, and the next guy has some legitimate success. You just hope he can bring that over here. We've struggled with that in coaches in the past, where we do this revolving door. It's tough to build an identity, figure out what that foundation, what is Nebraska football. When the door's swinging open all the time, it's really tough to tell. With Jeep Wade, though, I think he fits in with that Nebraska culture. For anyone who watched Georgia Tech football over these past 3 seasons, you'll kind of see his handprint on things. It helps when you have a mobile quarterback the way they did, but you also see a really lethal run game. Some of it's through the running back. A lot of it was through QB design runs. We'll see if that comes over into Nebraska football, if that's going to be part of this identity that he's going to bring over here, or if that was just more of, you look at who Georgia Tech had QB, it made total sense about why you would want to call that type of offense. I just love the hire a lot. I think it's one of those hires that a lot of people are going to have a hard time poking holes in it. One of the better candidates that you could probably grab out of everyone that was out there right now. So they got the thing done pretty fast too, considering where we landed on the defensive coordinator and how we're still kind of looking for that, although it feels like maybe they're getting closer. The offensive line coach position was pretty much instantaneously. I mean, you got it. And I think it was just a few hours later that day, we figured out who that new offensive line coach is going to be. And that new offensive line coach is going to be Jeep Wade out of Georgia Tech. All right, with that being said, we'll go ahead, throw it to break. Don't go anywhere. We'll dive more into the details about everything he's done down there for Georgia Tech right here, 93.7 The Ticket. Harrison Arens on Ticket Weekends. We will talk to you in a bit.
Stop by Hampton Inn downtown Lincoln's grand opening on Wednesday, December 10th, 4 to 7 p.m. They'll have giveaways, prizes, and a chance to explore their brand new space in the heart of Lincoln. It's a grand opening of the Hampton Inn downtown Lincoln on Wednesday, December 10th, 4 to 7 p.m.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through December 7th, enjoy whole boneless ribeye for $15.88 per pound. USDA choice boneless chuck roast $6.99 per pound. All natural thick cut bone-in pork chops $2.49 per pound. And holiday boxes are now available. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934. HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Doren. God bless you.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
The 2026 Love Nebraska schedule is here. Season 2 features 10 opportunities to catch your home team in Nebraska, with 9 at Baxter Arena and 1 at the Heartland Events Center in Grand Island. More matches means more chances to see your favorite pro volleyball athletes, like Lexi Rodriguez and Jordan Larson. Check out the full schedule by visiting lovbneb.com/schedule.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Harrison Arens on the ones and twos, Ticket weekends, and Jeff Essink is here. So why the hell not? Let's bring him on here.
Yeah.
He showed up. He's going to here talk some football here with us, and you got Fitness Fanatics coming up after as well. So what was going on, Jeff? You just sitting at home, just listening,
just ready to roll. I'm so fired up for today. 3:30 Packers Bears game day. It is awesome. I'm pumped. You know. There's so much to talk about that, Nicole only gives us like 25 minutes to talk sports. And there's like so many things I wanted to talk about. And she's like, well, you only have 25 minutes, because we do have a guest coming up on Fitness Fanatics. We have,
okay. Who do you got today?
Well, we have one of the sports nutritionists from UNL is going to be with us.
Oh, that's right. This would be a good one, especially around the holiday time.
Yeah, it is Jacob Michelli.
Okay.
He is the sports and nutritionist for Nebraska swimming and diving, gymnastics, and track and field.
That's probably one of the tougher nutritionist gigs to have.
Yeah, so he's going to be with us from 9:30 to 11. So I can't hijack the full hour.
Yeah, he's probably got some stuff that's worth listening to. That's more important than us just talking about the Bears for.
Well, I don't know.
over an hour.
I don't know if it's more important necessarily today, but
not to us.
For your health, yes, it's more important.
It is actually more important that I take care of my health more than I just care about Bears football. But I am super hyped about Bears football, and we'll definitely get into that. But I do just want to quickly get into a little bit of where I left off.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, Nebraska, we get rid of Donovan Raiola. We go ahead and bring Georgia Tech's Jeep Wade in here. What are your initial thoughts about getting rid, or I shouldn't say getting rid of, that sounds rude, but just firing Donovan Raiola?
Well, my couple things. Like I honestly, how many offensive line coaches have you heard of, right, in the nation?
Yeah, not until you start looking for him.
Exactly, yeah. Right? So I'd never heard of this guy before.
I just knew Georgia Tech had a good offensive line.
Yeah, and I know their quarterback's like a mobile guy.
Yeah, big boy. A lot of their offense was QB designed to run. So it'll be interesting to see if that was more of a result of we have a guy who can do it, or that's what I want to do, and that's part of my scheme.
Right. So then it's like, okay, now you have, if that's true, we're going to run the quarterback more. Is that a Dana Holgerson offense that he likes to run with the mobile quarterback? I don't know, right?
Well, year one, we had Jeff Sims, but I guess that was Satterfield.
That was Satterfield,
Yeah.
yes. So it's just kind of out there, I do know that Georgia Tech gave up 9 sacks for the entire season.
Yeah. Do you know how many we had?
Well, I don't need to know how many we had because I know we gave up 9 in one game.
Yeah, 30 in the season as well. 30 to 9. And again, that one, I always have to say this, but that 9 sack game, that is just not on the offensive line. When you have 9 sacks, that is a collective failure at protecting the quarterback. And a little bit on Dylan Rayola himself. I mean, that to me is everyone's pointing at each other. When you allow that many, that's a plagued issue on offense. So they did, to their credit, we never got anywhere close to that afterwards. So that maybe was a little bit of a wake-up call. I was a little bit perplexed because I thought this was one of the better years we had running the ball, but I couldn't understand why the pass protection was maybe an issue. But name it back who was, anywhere close to Emma Johnson. When was the last one? Do you have to go Amir?
Oh, well, yes. I mean, the last 1,000-yard back we had was Ozigbo in 2018. But, yeah, best back since Amir. Absolutely. And Emmett made so many guys miss, right? It wasn't like the holes were just like as big as this desk where he just ran through. Like sometimes you like kind of what Michigan ran through against us, how the holes were just like gaping holes in the running back. You just run straight forward.
Yeah, Moses clearing the seas for you.
Yeah, it's more like I think Sipple had said Emmett made 66 guys miss, or they have some stat like that shows how many tackles he broke, yards after contact. So Emmett did a great job of making guys miss, giving them the juke jive, and getting yards after contact. So it wasn't like, the offensive line made some holes, but it wasn't like holes like we're used to seeing the Bears running backs run through.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I'll tell you what, it's shout out Monungai and DeAndre Swift, but when you got holes like that,
my question is, so we're going to the Vegas Bowl.
Yeah, I thought for sure we're going Music City. I'm not gonna lie.
To play the number 15 team in the country, the Utah Utes, that are second in the nation in rushing offense.
Yeah,
right.
Got a mobile quarterback, Tim Pierre, who might be one of the best not the best, but certainly in the conversation of the best.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking like, okay, we don't have Emmett Johnson, Rocco Spindler's out. Yeah. Latif has his hamstring injury. So I'm trying to think like
this the Gramstead game.
Oh my! I'm trying to think how are we going to score some points if we have I'm just concerned is all.
I think I would have liked to match up over potential LSU more. Yeah, this game scares me a little bit. I mean, this is a good team. I will say though, great win if you can pull it off. So
absolutely good opportunity.
You can sit here and say, "Oh, woe is us," or if you're Nebraska football, just figure out a way to win. I mean, that's what you're going to have to do. I don't know what that looks like, but you're going to have to. I mean, this is a good team. They'll embarrass you if you don't show up.
And Utah will be ready to play.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Whittingham's unbelievable coach. They'll be ready to roll, and it's a great opportunity for them playing Nebraska in Vegas. But what a great way to spend our New Year's Eve!
Yeah, that's right. They'll be
at least the champagne will be popping regardless of we're playing or not. So,
and if we win or lose, it'll depend on how fast it's flowing.
Yeah, you just gotta put 2 and 2 together.
Let's get to the text line. Again, you guys can join in. I'm here with Jeff Essink, the host of Fitness Fanatics. He'll be on for 2 hours after this one with his co-host, Nicole Essink. All right.
Yes, Nicole.
Unknown texter 7917 chimes in. Ask, I'm interested to hear both of your thoughts. Who takes the last spot of the college football playoffs? He says Miami over Notre Dame, and Bama has to be out, right? And quickly, I'll go through everyone who won yesterday in these conference championships. This will help a little bit clear the picture. So number 2, Indiana takes down the Buckeyes. They win 13-10.
And how about a missed field goal from 27 yards?
Why couldn't that shank was unbelievable.
I texted one of my friends. I was like,
that looked like
Ohio
what we do.
State misses a field goal from time to time.
Yeah, that was incredible. I thought that was heading to OT for sure at the very least, but they get it done. And thanks to a shanked field goal by Ohio State. And we do get it. Indiana's defense was incredible. They were all over Ohio State in the low scoring game. And then number 3, Georgia takes down number 9 Alabama. It wasn't even close, 28-7. I was a little bit surprised by that one. Number 11 BYU falls to number 4 Texas Tech, 34-7. And then Duke brings in the madness. They get it done. Duke beats number 17 Virginia, 27-20 in overtime. It says, yes, we will absolutely add chaos to the party. And now you're sitting here. I mean, we'll get to the questions, but that's everything that happened yesterday, all the big ones. Who's going to be in that last spot of the college football playoff? Does Miami get in over Notre Dame? Does Bama get bounced out?
So I was watching ESPN this morning, which, ESPN is basically the SEC network,
propaganda
right?
network. Yeah.
Paul Feinbaum's on there, with his just giant ears. They're just like, they're literally the biggest ears you've ever seen, but that's beside the point. And Heather Dinich, right? She's good. She's kind of been the guru for ESPN for 10 years. But they're kind of seeming to think that Alabama's just going to drop to 10th. And Notre Dame will go to 9th. And that way the gutless, spineless members of the committee, they don't have to compare Miami and Notre Dame because they're not right next to each other, which is, it's just so stupid. I want, so in my opinion, I think it's tough because you don't want to cry for Bama, right? But they've been the recipient of so many things that have happened in the rankings where you're just like, they just want Bama in. Like, and I'm going to give you a little history lesson.
Okay.
Let's go back to 2001.
All right. I was 2.
You were 2. Nebraska lost to Colorado 62-36, right? Or 34. I can't remember. I tried to block that game out of my memory. We were ranked number 1. We dropped all the way to 7th in the polls. And this was 9/11 year. So there were the week that the games got canceled, games got pushed back to the end of the year. It's just kind of a quirky thing at the end, but all the teams in front of us kept losing. We keep moving up. We keep moving up. Got down to the last game. It was the SEC championship game. I can't remember if Florida or Tennessee was ranked number 2nd. Nebraska was ranked number 3 at the time. And so it came down to if that team lost in the SEC title game, the Huskers, who lost their last game, would be playing for the national championship if they just moved up a spot. So the bias started in 2001 when Kirk Herbstreit got on national television and made this statement: how can you have a team that didn't win their own division of their own conference play for the national championship? And he was begging voters to vote Colorado higher than Nebraska in the polls to knock Nebraska out. Because at that time, it was the BCS. So it was like computers, coaches poll, AP poll, and then like a combination. They just kind of sandwiched it together.
Yeah.
Begging voters to drop Nebraska. You fast forward a couple years later, when Bama lost to LSU in the regular season, didn't win their division, didn't win their conference, and then it became this statement: you just got to put the 2 best teams in the game. So the bias started all the way back in 2001. And I still get irritated every time I think about that. And Gary Danielson was on there. Just, you can't put Nebraska in. Now, obviously, they were right how the game ended up. I personally thought Oregon should have made the championship game that year instead of Nebraska because they both had 1 loss. Oregon did win the Pac-10, Pac-8, Pac-10, whatever it was back then.
Yeah, I think it was the Pac-10.
And Colorado had 2 losses. They had lost to Fresno State early in the season. So that kind of knocked them out. But it was just a cry, keep Nebraska out, keep Nebraska out. And then all of a sudden, it's not about fairness, right? It's about the 2 best teams. So to answer Bubba's question, because that's who texted in, if it were up to me, I would have Miami as the last team in. Because while you don't want to penalize Bama that much for losing, they had to play an extra game, obviously. So I get that aspect of it. But they got thumped. They got dominated. And if you just look at, everybody says like, well, look at Miami's losses. They lost to 2 bad teams. Well, the last I checked, Louisville was 8-4. SMU was 8-4. A team that Bama lost to was 5-7 Florida State, right? So then it's like, oh, well, that's week 1. That shouldn't count. Well, it counts, right? Just like Miami beating Notre Dame should count. If the Bears and Eagles tied for first place at the end of the year in the NFC, who gets the tiebreaker? The Bears. Because they beat them head to head. It doesn't matter if so-and-so was injured or what week it was, or that's irrelevant. They played on the field. Miami beat them head to head. I mean, it's crazy how like we can play mental gymnastics to fit our narrative, like I'm kind of doing now, right?
I mean, you're not wrong, but the problem is,
what's the problem?
Is Duke ruined everything?
Well, that's actually
that is, if Duke didn't win, Miami's in. But now because Duke lost, you lose an ACC representative.
If Virginia would have won, Virginia would have been in.
Virginia would have been in.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it still would have been, because now you have no ACC representative whatsoever, it allowed for another group of 5 school to get in there.
It's kind of funny.
So you're going to end up with a James Madison and a Tulane.
You know, which is, I know
or North Texas.
I know you want to be fair and you want the little guy to get in there.
They didn't. They wanted the ACC. But that's all on the ACC. How do you let that happen?
Well, because maybe the ACC should be punished because of their stupidity.
I mean,
like,
oh my Lord,
the second tiebreaker in the ACC was just this and a combination of this and that, and it's like maybe they should just take whoever is the highest ranked team and put them in there, right?
Yeah. Well, you got Joe on here saying a few things can be true at once. Does head-to-head matches matter? Yes, of course it does. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is the problem with it. I thought we were all good. We're expanding to 12, and now it's like, well, do you have to? Here's how you'd have to figure it out. So you have your conference championship games. The problem with those is like, should you be rewarded or punished? Because Alabama was in, right? Everyone agreed. Then the conference championship game happens, and now people want to take Alabama out. Yeah. But how come the schools that didn't have to go play in a conference championship game get to stay in, and there's no risk whatsoever?
Well, and that's where the committee is playing games by moving Bama ahead of Notre Dame. They did it on purpose because now Bama loses, they can drop Bama one spot. See, it kind of saves their butts, kind of like they don't have to compare Notre Dame and Miami now because they're not going to be side by side. Where they knew since they moved Bama up a spot, they can just drop them, create that buffer, and then put Notre Dame and Bama in the playoffs. And then they don't even have to care about the head-to-head matchup.
Yeah, the SEC buffer is always a problem. I mean,
but I'll tell you what, does this playoff set up good for the Big Ten or what?
Because you got Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana. They're going to hold on to 1 and 2.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
And Oregon is going to be playing James Madison.
Yep.
In Eugene, right? Which, like I was saying earlier, I'm kind of a blue blood guy. Like,
I think they would get Texas Tech. You like Oregon again there, probably.
Right.
And then you're looking at a Texas Tech, Indiana, and Georgia's going to have a down bad Ole Miss.
Yep. So it's looking good for the Big Ten.
And then Ohio State is going to have Ohio State. Sorry about it. You get the toughest road every time.
Well, they earned that by losing, right? If they win, they're the 1 seed.
That is true.
So they lost.
Yeah, it works out. But like even their first game is going to be versus Texas A&M or Alabama.
I kind of just wish the group of 5 just didn't have a seat at the table. Because are you excited, Harrison Arens, to sit down? Would you be more excited to watch James Madison go to Oregon and they're probably going to lose by 30? Okay. Or would you be more excited if it was Texas at Oregon?
Put some respect on James Madison.
Oh, some respect on him. You
Kurt Signetti's boys from back then. Right? James Madison's a good team, but yeah, obviously the odds of it happening are low. I would as a fan, that is best case scenario. I was like, James Madison really caused some chaos.
They're not going to.
I know. But as a fan, that's the best case. No, is the better game Oregon and Texas? Yes. Obviously, that's the better hypothetical match.
If it were up to me, I'd want Notre Dame and Miami both in.
Yeah, I think
Texas,
the Canes,
right?
that's probably why, Foreman couldn't make it. today. He saw his canes probably sitting outside on it. No, Jay Foreman's responsible. He's taking care of other things in life.
Yeah.
But he probably, I'd imagine he's thinking there, like, how in the world? Because he's obviously a big Husker fan, but, he's got obviously family ties to the Canes. So he's Miami Hurricane fans as well. I thought for sure they would be in. Then it got a little hairy there. And then you were kind of just looking for BYU to lose.
So
they did. Yep. And then you're looking for Virginia to win, and they didn't. So they need two things to happen, only one of which did.
So BYU's going to, they're going to drop. They got blown out, and then Bama stays in, right?
Yep.
So it's like.
The way I see it, and because we do got to go to break here, and I think the college football playoff predictions, as a right, this was Bleacher Reports, I think they're pretty spot on, though. So we agreed Indiana, Ohio State, they just flop. Indiana's your 1 seed, Ohio State's your 2. Then they got Texas Tech and Georgia as your 3 and 4. And then they do have James Madison in there, and Tulane's in there. Notre Dame is in there. And I think those are the only surprises. So you do not have Miami, which is
they're going to get
Texas.
left out. Because Bama will be 10th and Notre Dame will be 9th.
Mm-hmm.
And, at the end of the day, none of those teams are going to win anyway. But it's like if you have 16, it's like, oh, who's the 17th best team?
Yep.
So you're always going to have arguments and stuff. But all right, well, are we going to go to break then?
Yeah.
And
Let's go to break.
All right.
Don't go anywhere. We got one more segment. You guys can join in. Take weekends. Harrison Arns, Jeff Essink. Talk to you in a bit.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
I'm Steve Carper, and I'm here to tell you that there's never been a better time to buy flooring. Whether you need carpet, wood flooring, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you got to come to O Street Carpet. With our 12-month interest-free financing, you can do one room or your whole house and leave your holiday budget intact. And with our huge in-stock selection, you can buy today and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
Leaves are falling and temperatures are cooling down, but don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Winter leagues begin on December 1st and are open for registration. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker Watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate or team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at doubleeagle.golf.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise! When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, you can get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise with the bill. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Here at Midwest Bank, we want to thank all the generous donors who helped us make our 2025 turkey dinner for schools a success. Thanks to the generosity, we raised enough money to provide 191 families across 6 different schools in Lincoln with a full Thanksgiving meal. With your support, we've made Thanksgiving Day for these families a little brighter. We want to wish everyone a healthy and happy Thanksgiving. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Attention parents of 8 to 12-year-olds. The Lincoln Children's Museum is opening a new exhibit designed specifically with them in mind. Mark your calendars for the grand opening on Saturday, December 13th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. On site, meet Love Nebraska volleyball players, including Lincoln's own Jordan Larson. Plus, the first 100 kids will receive a mini volleyball. Please note, fans must have a child with them to enter the museum. While you're there, be sure to check out the new Rock Wall, Book Nook, and Maker Studio. This event is free for members or included with regular daily admission. Learn more at lincolnchildrensmuseum.org.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment. Jeff Essink, Harrison Arens. We're going to finish up with, you could probably take a wild swing at it. Chicago Bears, they are number one in the NFC, despite what everyone keeps saying.
Number one.
Yeah.
They're number one.
Fraudulent number one.
They're number one.
We're only in week 13. We know it's fraudulent by week 13.
I don't think it's fraudulent. You know, the last time the Bears were the number one seed in December in the NFC was in 2006, the same year they went to the Super Bowl. Not saying that that's going to happen, but that's the last time they were the number one seed.
Yeah.
Going into
that was
December.
a damn good team.
What's that?
That was damn good. That was the team. That's how I became a fan. It was 06.
Yep, and I became a fan in 85. That's why.
How many Super Bowls you got to show for it?
One in 06.
Yeah. 0 for 1. But
0 for 1.
I did get to at least watch one. All right. They take on the Green Bay Packers tonight. I think it's about 8 o'clock.
3:25.
It's 3:25? Hold on. This might be a problem for me.
They play at 3:25. The game in 2 weeks is on Saturday night, the 20th.
I was looking ahead at 7:20. The next time we play the Packers around there. But yeah, 3:25. That one, I'll still be at home. We'll watch that one. That one's going to be great. Jeff, how confident are you feeling on this one?
You know, I feel like the more the game has gotten closer, I'm starting to feel a little more confident every day. And just the reason is our head coach, right? Ben Johnson has been a offensive coordinator 3 games in Lambeau Field. Guess what his record is?
3-0.
3-0. So he knows LaFleur. It's not like we had somebody that hasn't coached against Matt LaFleur, or he doesn't know the Packer defense. He knows the Packer defense because he's coached against them the last 3 years in a row. So I think that gives us a good advantage. I think the fact that we went to Lambeau last year and won the game, even though Jordan Love wasn't playing, who cares? We still won.
Yeah, and we're always beat up injury-wise.
Yep.
I can't remember exactly who, but we're missing some. I think we're once again missing quite a bit of our defense.
Well, we were missing a head coach. We were missing an offensive coordinator. We were missing a lot of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, they won there last year. And, Caleb could really be 2-0 against the Packers. But we had a field goal blocked in the first match. Now it's still obviously counted, and we still lost the game. But so both those games last year were close. The Bears are obviously way better this year than they were last year. And I was kind of questioning the legitimacy of the Bears until they went to Philly. And they really put the clamps on them.
Yeah, as Packers fans, you can't tell me that doesn't raise your eyebrow just a little bit, like watching that game, because that that was the first time in a while I've seen Philadelphia just be out physical like that.
Yeah, big time.
For what they are, we just said, okay, bring it on. And then everyone's talking, Saquon Barkley, this is an easy breakout game for the Bears. And there was certainly some merit to that argument. looking at what the Bears have given up on the ground. A little bit of a bend, don't break type of defense, and they really just go for the takeaways. But they were talking big time, like, okay, this will be the game the Eagles get rolling offensively. Saquon, this will be breakout. He'll finally have a game over 100 yards rushing, and just got stymied.
Right, and we had 3 starting linebackers out.
Yep.
So
we finally had our corners back. And they did make a difference.
Yep.
Antonio Brown AJ Brown just made some fantastic plays.
Right. But we got TJ Edwards is back. Sewell is back. So that's 2 of our 3 linebackers are back. So we're pretty much, Roma Dunze's out today.
Yes.
Which
he might be out for a while, too, the way it sounds.
Yeah. But
Luther Burden game?
You got Burden. You got Zacchaeus.
Yeah.
You got DJ. I mean, there's just weapons all over the place. So I feel pretty good. Now the Packers are a great team. Winning in Detroit was a great win. They spanked Detroit both times. Got 2 wins over Detroit. So they're a good team. I know that TJ Watt, when they got the touchdown and sacked Caleb in the end zone, you got to be aware of Micah Parsons, right? You can't give Micah Parsons his moment.
It's going to be fun. There's going to be one situation today where it's going to be Micah Parsons comes free,
chasing
and
Caleb.
It's going to be Williams, and it's going to be like, all right, can you beat one of the best?
Yeah, he's going to be chasing him down because Micah's faster than Caleb Williams, so he could get him.
I don't know. Williams might be one of the. I mean, he's legit one of the faster dudes.
Yeah, Micah.
He doesn't look crazy fast. Micah Parsons, I'd have to figure out what he runs, but I mean, it's not like Williams is going to be able to dust him. and Parsons is athletic enough that if he gets a hand on him, he'll bring Williams down.
The Bears just need to avoid the big mistake. That's something they've done a pretty good job at. Caleb not throwing the game we lost to the Ravens, he threw a pick down inside the 20.
Yeah, we had that versus the Eagles, but luckily it didn't kill us.
That's because we ripped out the ball, out of Jalen Hurts.
Well, the defense has been just. We've had some bad plays, but again, that defense has been playing just lights out. We got a dude with 6 interceptions, another dude with 5, another dude with 4. I think we got 3 dudes all within the top 5 leading an interception.
I know. And Jordan Love, when he's on, he's really good.
Yep.
When he's off, as you've seen some of the Packers, some of their games this year really struggled on offense against the Browns, against the Panthers, just really, really struggled. So hopefully the Bears will come to play. I know Ben Johnson will have him ready. He kind of made some statement when he was hired for the Bears, like he loves beating Matt LaFleur twice. So that's kind of gotten some traction.
Which is funny because I'm sure you've seen the stuff now. And they're like, did you know him? He's like, never spoke to him. He just said that, because normally when coaches make that, you're like kind of think they have a little bit of like they know each other and whatnot. And like he had never even spoken to him. And he's like, well, I'm a Bear now. I guess that's just the thing. We take shots at the Packers.
Take shots at the Packers. Yep. So it'll be good. But no, big game also today. Bears are Steelers, Ravens.
Yeah,
is a big game for us. In the house, Ben's a little depressed. I'm like, all these games before now are irrelevant. Take care of business today, and they're in first place in the North. So
yeah, he's had a really, really good. So this is, I think, a time for him where things aren't as smooth as they once were.
Facing a little adversity.
He's facing
the
friction, as they say.
Yep.
All right, Mississippi Mud Dog. I'll let him say it. He says, "Enjoy this feeling now, losers."
Here we go.
Pack, go. Yeah,
here we
there'll
go.
be a lot of that today. Appreciate everybody listening. Don't go anywhere. Fitness Fanatics up next. Jeff, Nicole, I think they will talk to you here in a little bit.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT, from cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything